What's up, guys? VitalSyntax here, and this is some more gameplay of the open beta for Crysis 3 on PC. And we're looking at Crash Site on Museum, and I'm using the FY7 assault rifle. This is one of two of the assault rifles in the beta. I'm hoping that there's more than that. I'm kind of surprised that the Scar wasn't featured in the beta. That was kind of the go-to assault rifle in Crysis 2, and it was the weapon that was in the Crysis 2 beta. So I'm hoping that there's more weapons in the full game once that's released. Because they aren't listed in the Crysis 2 beta, and you can't see them in the unlocks sequence. So I'm hoping that there's more than just the weapons we do see in the beta. But this has been kind of my go-to weapon since I've unlocked it in the Crysis 3 beta. So if you guys haven't tried this thing, try to unlock it and test it out for yourselves. It shoots a lot slower than the Scarab. It seems to do quite a bit more damage, and it doesn't have nearly as much recoil, so it's a little bit easier to control at medium and longer ranges. And I don't know, I just feel like it's a little bit better than the Scarab in my hands. And this is probably the best weapon for me in the multiplayer beta. So definitely test it out if you guys haven't. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the way they've done the unlock sequence and the way they've done, I don't know what to call it, but I guess the reset option. Because this is a little bit different than it was in Crysis 2. Essentially, they've had, and I don't know if this is just for the beta. This might be, you know, an unlock system that's specific to the beta, but I think that's probably going to be quite similar to the full game's unlock sequence. So the way they have it in Crysis 3 beta is you have to unlock some of the weapons, like the bow, or some of the other weapons, like the MK11. I think is one of the light machine guns. A couple of other ones. You have to look through the progression. I don't know all the names of the weapons in the game quite yet. But the way you unlock them is you do a nanosuit reset, which is in some ways similar to like a prestige from Call of Duty, where you reset all of your classes, you lose all your unlocks. I don't know if it resets your stats. Honestly, it doesn't really matter in the beta because your stats are going to be reset once the full game comes out anyway. But I am curious if in the full game, if your stats are going to be reset. Or if it keeps your stats. I'd rather it probably keep your stats if you're gonna be doing it every couple times. And every time you do that, you actually unlock the next weapon. So I've only done the nanosuit reboot one time, and that was to unlock the bow and arrow, which if you saw my last video, it kind of sucks. So I'm kind of frustrated that I did that. Although it doesn't really matter because there's only 10 levels in the beta. That's the max level you can get to, so if you do the nanosuit reboot, it's pretty easy to get back to the highest level or the max level that's limited in the beta. Now, one of my gripes about the Crysis 3 beta is probably going to be about the full game as well, in particular to the Crash Site game mode, is the way the score streaks or the kill streaks work. So I like the idea of having the dog tags and they drop and you can pick them up to get a kill streak. I really do, and I like the fact that kill streaks are in this game because I think they fit in really well with the really fast gameplay. And I really freaking love the max nanosuit. There's actually 2 max nanosuits in this gameplay. That's the most I've ever gotten so far. So this is probably one of the better gameplays that I had. I believe I ended up with like 45 or something kills and the most Crash Site points as well. So this is pretty freaking good for me. But I wish that you got some type of points that would go towards kill streaks by controlling the capture points, by controlling these pods, because it seems like a lot of people are staying away from the pods because you're exposing yourself by standing on one of the pods. I mean, they're usually right out in the open, and if you get killed, then you obviously have to reset your kill streak count. So maybe it'd be a cool idea if you were if they were to implement some type of system where for every, I don't know, like 10 seconds that you held the flag point, you would get a token or a dog tag towards your kill streak. That way people have a little bit more of an incentive to play the objective in this game mode, and also you'd see a little bit more, a few more kill streaks. Because it also doesn't seem like there's very many kill streaks going on, which I'm actually kind of fine with, just because you don't want it, tons of air support in the air. You don't want radars up 24/7. But they need to have some type of incentive for the score, or for capturing the flags. And it's probably going to be the same with some of the other game modes. They need some type of incentive for people to play the objective and not just go for kills. And an even bigger issue I have with the beta right now is that there's no European servers. And that sucks for everybody. It sucks for the people that live in Europe because they can't play with low pings. They have to join US servers. I think US servers are really the only option right now, but I haven't looked through all of them. But hopefully that's something that they fix for the full game. Once, you know, people, third parties can come in and start hosting their own servers, I'm sure we'll see a lot of EU servers. But it's not only a bummer for people that live in Europe, but it's also a bummer for people that live in the US, because it seems like almost all of the games I go into, at least half, usually like 80 to 90%. I've had a lot of games where I'm the only one in the server that's from the US that has a ping below 100. I might have a ping of like 50 or something, and everybody else has a ping of like 300, 400, 500. And it sucks for everybody, because obviously they all have a really shitty ping to the server, so they're all lagging around, and it sucks for me and anybody else that actually lives in the US that has a good ping, because the people that are lagging around are all choppy, they're hard to hit, their hitboxes are kind of screwed up, or they'll teleport sometimes around the map. So that's a pretty big issue. I guess it's kind of understandable that it's just a beta, so I guess they couldn't you know, have servers everywhere on the planet, but you would think at least having them in Europe would be a good idea. I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't fix some of the glaring issues in Crysis 2. These aren't really game-breaking issues, but they're more of kind of glitches or little oddities about the game that you would think are just so obvious that they would notice them and they would want to figure out some way to fix them. And one of the most obvious ones I think that comes to mind for me is the kill cams. So I do like the idea of having some type of kill cam. It does force you to watch it. There's no way to skip it, and there's no way to instant respawn, which I love. I hate instant respawn in something like Call of Duty. I like having a spawn timer just so it's not as cluttered on the map. But the issue is that the kill cams are very, very laggy, very inaccurate. Sometimes you'll have a kill cam that'll show just a random person walking around the map. It won't even be the right person, or the audio will be out of sync, or they won't even shoot a bullet on their screen, or they like shooting in the opposite direction. It's just totally wrong, totally screwed up. Hopefully that's something to do with the ping, but I remember in Crysis 2, even on like low ping servers where everybody has, you know, a good ping under like 40 or around 40 or 50, it still had a lot of issues with the kill cams. Once again, this isn't really game breaking at all. It's not really that big of an issue, but it's something that's so obvious you'd think that they would figure out a way to fix it, because it's really bad. So aside from some of the few complaints that I just mentioned about the beta, I really am enjoying the Crysis 3 open beta, and I'm really looking forward to the full game. Once again, I've said this a couple times, but you guys can expect a lot of content on my channel for the beta, obviously, but also when the full game comes out, because I'm going to be playing this game quite a bit myself. And I was one of the few people that really enjoyed Crysis 2. I played just so much of that game, and I really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite shooters, actually, which it probably sounds weird to most people, because a lot of people had issues with it, and there were a lot of problems with it, but just the gameplay and the mechanics of the game I just really enjoy. So once again, overall, I think that the game's going to be pretty awesome once it's released. There are some issues with it. I think there is a lack of guns. I think they do need to release more guns, which they might do with DLC. I remember they did do that with the FY7 for Crysis 2, and it kind of sucks that there's not really much new content. This is in some ways Crysis 2.5. I mean, they're using basically all the same weapons, all the same user interface, basically all the same game modes. Obviously they have new maps and stuff, but the multiplayer, at least by itself, really doesn't feel like a revolutionary change for the Crysis series. It feels more like an evolutionary change, and it's a very small evolutionary change. So I do really like the game. I'm not trying to say that I don't, but it does kind of suck that it's not a true next gen title. It does feel a lot like Crysis 2.5. So I'm probably going to do a playthrough on my channel of Crysis 3 single player. I have kind of fond memories of the single player, and obviously Crysis 1, which I actually played after I played Crysis 2, because I didn't have a PC when Crysis 1 came out. But I did enjoy Crysis 2 single player, so I'm probably going to do a playthrough of Crysis 3 single player, and I also pre-ordered Dead Space 3, so we might do something on that as well once that comes out. I think it comes out on the 5th, so that comes out even before Crysis 3 is fully released, so should see that pretty soon. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed it, feel free to give me a like or a favorite. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys want to see next for the beta, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.